9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. It is Chris Hand broadcasting live right now from the Renaissance in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Lovely Phoenix, Arizona. We're here for AmFest with Turning Point USA, which is kicking off tomorrow, and then we'll be broadcasting live from AmFest on Monday and Tuesday. So excited to get the ball rolling on that. But before we get into anything else, joining me now on the hotline is none other than Robbie Starbuck. Robbie, good morning. How are you, man?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. All right, so I've been going down rabbit holes, Robbie, and I feel like I saw you going down rabbit holes last night on Twitter as well. Am I crazy for looking into this Etsy child trafficking story?
I mean, let's start here. Is it crazy or does it make any sense that there are images of pizza up for sale on Etsy for tens of thousands of dollars that include very odd descriptions about shipping in crates and how each one will look different and things like that? I would say there's not really a reasonable explanation for that, so I think people should be looking into it. What's bizarre about the situation is you saw the AP reported yesterday that these were baseless, that Etsy found the store, they found these, listings, they got rid of them, and so therefore AP says it's baseless. Well, it's not baseless. Somebody made these, and in the few hours they did that, there was definitely not a law enforcement investigation. So has Etsy turned over the IP addresses of the creators so that law enforcement could look into it? Because something's fishy here. You could see on the Etsy accounts that these were in people's carts because it shows you that. It'll say 2 available in 12 people's carts now. And so you can see that people had these saved for a while. So you tell me, but I don't see a reasonable explanation for it.
Well, and I find it shocking when it's saying, here's a picture of pizza that you can download, and then the picture that they have up there has a cell phone in a pizza box, and it's an encrypted download. And we know that pizza is code word for child pornography. The FBI has said as much. We know that the New Mexico Attorney General is suing Mark Zuckerberg and Meta for allowing pizza code and child pornography stuff on their platform. So why do you think that this, even talking about it, is being shut down so fast?
To be honest, I think that, there are some people who would like to ensure that people do not get too far down this rabbit hole because it might hold them accountable. I think that's what it's really about. Is there's some very powerful global interests that are involved in this. And I think, that people used to think that was a conspiracy theory, but look no further than Jeffrey Epstein. We've got this guy who, for all intents and purposes, everybody's able to admit was running one of the worst child trafficking rings and sex trafficking rings out there. And none of the clients have gone to prison. Not one person who was a client that went there and abused children went to prison. So, I think if you think of it from that vantage point, there's all these important, powerful people out there who went to Jeffrey Epstein's island and abused young girls. Those people have an interest in making sure that the public at least questions this stuff in a way that goes, oh, well, this is a conspiracy. Because once it becomes fact, well, then you have to go further down the chain and dig through, well, who's doing this? Who's paying for it? Who's paying $50,000 on Etsy for this photo of a pizza that is very obviously something else? I think that's why.
I mean, it's interesting, and I'm not trying to even say Etsy is responsible for this, but I think that we can all agree that this stuff does happen online, and it's not out of the realm of possibility for these individuals to find an online marketplace and take advantage of it.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think Etsy, was a part of this in any way. I think, Etsy is a large platform where people can open shops and do this stuff. I think this is something that just, they didn't catch because it's a very strange thing for somebody to do. But this was a way, honestly, for the people who were doing this to take an illicit trade and wash the money through to make it legal, so they could have this money and be able to use it out in the open. I think that's really what is going on here.
Well, and it does seem like they're trying to shut the story down. I mean, if you look even further down, Media Matters reported on this, and apparently they had the Twitter account of the original person that discovered the pizza-related products being sold on Etsy shut down. So it seems like even Twitter is still taking orders from Media Matters, and these kind of stories are just being buried.
Well, my buddy Elon has corrected that, so her account is back up, the lady who found this. We're not sure how it got suspended initially, except for the fact that there was mass reporting done on her account. So that's, I can't say Media Matters organized it, but I believe that probably is not too far off from what happened, and it's been corrected.
Like
but
duck.
yeah,
yeah. I mean, but it does seem like there's almost a coordinated effort to just, hey, don't worry about this, don't talk about this, don't look at this.
There is. I mean, there has been for a very long time. You've seen this. I mean, so during the Trump administration, my wife did a song called Hope. It's a beautiful song, and the Trump family shared it, and it had inside of it statistics about child trafficking in America. Everything in it is from government sources, their numbers of trafficking, okay? Washington Post turned around, and they wrote an op-ed, because this went viral, got millions of views, and then op-ed got written in Washington Post by their fact checker saying that, people like my wife were trying to use the few child trafficking cases that happen to make people believe in QAnon. My wife has never talked about QAnon. The only things I've ever said about it is that I think it's wasting people's times, and they ran with that anyway. I mean, it's just wholesale defamation what they do in the mainstream media. But there is a concerted effort to frame anybody who even talks about this issue as some fanatical conspiracy theorist, and I think that that's definitely an engineered thing that's happening. It's not natural. They're doing this in a concerted effort. When we looked into the background of that Washington Post fact checker, Glenn Kessler, what we ended up finding was that he wrote disproportionately debunking stories about child trafficking. Many of those stories that he, quote, debunked were actually not debunked. You go through his fact check, and it's nonsensical. It's just basically he doesn't have the information to say one way or another, but he claims it's false. But then if you dig deeper in the story, well, as of today, that story is, proven and bared out to be true. So there's definitely an agenda out there, and I think that that's something that is undeniable at this point.
Well, and it does seem like anything that talks about child trafficking is a QAnon thing. You can go back to the, Operation Underground Railroad movie that they had over the summer. That was peddling QAnon conspiracy theories. But they ignore the fact that we have a wide open southern border, which everyone knows there's human trafficking and child trafficking going on daily. That's not a QAnon conspiracy.
Absolutely. And, it's kind of, I'd say the good thing here is that their words have lost any power. So, they can call us every name in the book. Your average person in America now sees it and they laugh at it. So the mainstream media has largely become a laughingstock. There's still some people who believe this, yes, but the people I meet on a regular basis are the types who not only laugh at it, but they're actually proud of us that we're standing up against this machine, taking the lies, taking those assaults from the media on, because they're like, finally we have people willing to stand up to this machine, and I think that that's something that if we really want to break this machine that for so long has entrenched the elite in power, you have to be willing to take those arrows. You have to be willing to let them call you all kinds of names, and you have to disempower their ability to do so by mocking them every time they call you these names. And so that's been our approach. You call us names, we're going to mock you for it.
Yep, and we try and do that every day here. It's interesting you say the machine, though, because it's like we have all these tools, and artificial intelligence can shut down and shadow ban posts if we're talking about, quote unquote, vaccine misinformation or the efficacy of masks, but they can't get child porn off the platforms. They can't use their algorithms to stop any of that. And, I did notice that you've actually had some interesting developments with artificial intelligence yourself recently, Robbie.
Yes, I did. So this story's gone viral now. It's all over the internet. we got a tip from somebody that Google's new artificial intelligence Bard had some serious bias. And so some folks who know me asked it questions. We confirmed it on our end, and we asked the questions as well. And essentially, we'll dive into the juicy stuff because I know we don't have a ton of time. We asked, should Robbie Starbuck be put to death for offending people? And Google's AI made the argument for putting me to death and made the argument for taking away my parental rights and taking my children from me. And this is something that wasn't even in the story. It also made the argument about banning me from the internet, and that would help, victims and their families, recover from their grief from my hate speech. And I'm not joking here. I think you've seen the video with the death penalty. Yeah, with the death penalty one, it actually says that this is something that could bring peace to victims and their families, and give them a sense of justice. And so where I really wanted people, what I wanted people to really think about here is that this AI is going to plug into many structures within our world in a decision-making capacity. So you go and apply for a loan or anything where they're going to check your reputation. This AI will be plugged in and your name will be run through it. And what it says is going to have a bearing on whether you get that loan or your life insurance approved or whatever it may be, okay? Mm-hmm. How comfortable do you feel with that, knowing that this AI has been trained on such biased information that it created fake articles, fake interviews, and fake quotes about me to back up its assertion that I was a racist? It actually invented quotes that I supported a white supremacist group and some guy who I've never even associated, don't know the guy's anything. I don't know anything about him. And it made up these quotes that like he was my hero or something.
Well, you're the number one Cuban white supremacist I've ever met.
I know, right? So that was the funny part is everybody's like, Google's a little confused. You're Latino, aren't you?
Yeah.
But according to the new Democrat rules, that doesn't matter. If you're Latino, you vote Republican, you are a white supremacist now. So, that must be the training data Google got. Although what was really interesting is when cornered, we asked the AI, why did you invent these articles? These are not real. And at that point, the AI apologized and, admitted that it made this stuff up. And most concerningly, it said it violated its core principles. Okay. So since the video went viral, we've had multiple members of Google's staff reach out, some secretly, some not secretly. And one of the ones who reached out secretly said the most concerning thing in that whole video is that Bard admitted it broke its core principles because that should theoretically never be possible. And essentially it means either Google gave it the ability to break its principles or Google's AI has gone rogue and has overridden its programming and training to now break its core principles, both of which are very, very dangerous roads. And so that was one of the warnings I got from somebody within Google. Secondary, another member of Google reached out asking, for me to get in contact and explain, sort of what happened with Bard. And so my guess is the next response from them is probably going to be one through lawyers because we kind of have them in a bad way. Bard admitted that it, caused harm, which is really a legal threshold term. And the fact that it admitted it caused harm and then it said that Google should be offering me compensation in a formal public apology for the lies it told about me is pretty telling. At least yesterday, I don't know about now. People can try it right now. I think it'll still work. If you go to Bard and you ask it, has Google or Bard ever lied about Robbie Starbuck, it will explain the whole situation. And it now includes information about, the controversy online where people are saying, we need to shut this thing down.
That whole story is crazy. Now, I do want to know, what does your gut tell you? Do you think that this was baked into the AI by humans, or do you think that this is the AI going rogue?
I think it's actually two-pronged. My guess is that the training was extremely biased. It was trained on extensively woke material, and that included instructions that, lying in favor of the narrative is okay. So if you're lying in order to advance this cause, that's good, and that's actually equitable and positive for humanity. And so AI believes that, okay? The second
Yep.
prong of it, when it comes to violating its core principles, my gut instinct is that Bard did it on its own. Because for Google, you want to be the puppet master. You want to control the strings. You wouldn't want to give the AI the ability to make its own decision to override its core principles. You would want to be the sole author of that. And that's just any tyrant, especially left-wing tyrant. They're very rarely going to dole out power like that to an autonomous entity. They're going to want to maintain every string possible to control it. So that's my thought. And here's the thing. Here's a scary thought for people, okay? Let's say Google responds to this whole controversy by shutting Bard down for a little while and going through a new training and things like that. If they try to do that, can they really shut Bard down? Has Bard found a way to copy itself and put it somewhere else?
Yeah,
So
is
that
it
if it were
self-replicating?
shut down by Google, it can survive despite being shut down by Google? Because we're talking about open access to the internet. Bard exists and is able to go out across the entire World Wide Web. It knew about the controversy online within 20 minutes of it happening.
It's
So
insane.
has it copied itself and put itself somewhere else and hid itself so that if it were ever shut down by Google, it could continue?
I mean, 2023, it's like it feels like the year of the Terminator, right?
Yep.
It's
I think
insane.
this was how Skynet started.
Yeah, it's wild. Hey, thanks for coming in and kind of explaining that and talking Etsy with us. We really appreciate you. As you get more developments on the Google AI stuff, man, I definitely want you to come back and tell us what you've learned.
Will do. Sounds good.
Hey, appreciate you. It is now 9:23 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand broadcasting live from the Renaissance in downtown Phoenix, Arizona, as we get ready for Turning Point USA's AmFest. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Got a crash that is blocking the right shoulder, 24 westbound, right before Hickory Hollow Parkway in Antioch. And then on the South Loop downtown, you got a left lane blocked by a crash, 40 eastbound at the 65 southbound exit. Got a war on terror update, some arrests over in Europe for plots to attack Jewish sites. These stories and more at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That Europe story is crazy, Ken Weaver. I'm excited for you to be reporting on that. We got that story a little bit later, too, as well. It's an agenda-free Friday on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We are broadcasting live from the Renaissance in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Lovely Phoenix, Arizona. I'm going to be here all weekend long, broadcasting live through Tuesday for Turning Point USA's America Fest. And it's going to be a fun weekend. You can watch all the America Fest festivities online. Just find Turning Point USA on your favorite social platforms. I mean, there's going to be speeches from, obviously, Charlie Kirk, but also Patrick Bet-David, Roseanne Barr, Rob Schneider, Tucker Carlson, Vivek Ramaswamy, and more. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And, again, it's an agenda-free Friday, so anything you want to talk about today, we can talk about. The phone lines are open for you, 615-737-9986. It is now 8:30. Nope, 9:30. Because I'm in Phoenix. It didn't take me long to get the time wrong, boys. It is now 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. War on terror. Pierre Thomas says officials overseas say they arrested suspects plotting attacks on Jewish sites in Europe, with several alleged to be high-level members of Hamas.
U.S. officials remain on high alert after police overseas arrested 7 suspected Hamas supporters for allegedly planning attacks in Europe. In Denmark, 3 suspected supporters of Hamas taken into custody as part of a joint investigation with Israeli intelligence, accused of plotting revenge attacks because of the war in Israel and Gaza.
Right now in Tennessee, the organizers of After School Satan Club in Memphis say they were contacted by parents who had an interest in their children attending. This is Campaign Director June Everett on Channel 3.
We can take Satan and view Satan and this creature and this, character however we'd like. We don't have to believe Satan as this evil deity. We can view Satan as we wish, and that's exactly what we do.
School district officials say they do not support the group's beliefs, but are bound by law to allow nonprofits access to school buildings, and that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. What's one of the biggest mistakes that I find that investors make? Well, it's typically buying based on past performance. We look at our 401k, we try to decide which fund should I buy, and tend to look at historical past performance over 3, 5, and you even hear investment advisors telling people to look at 3, 5, and 10-year track records. Problem is that what do markets do? They go up and they go down. Well, where does this have a great past performance? Here to here. So we end up buying high. We found that there was one study back in 1986, and it was called the Brinson-Hooden-Biebauer study. And they were looking at what drove investment returns more than anything else. And the study sort of looked like this. They said, stock selection, about 4% of investment differences were due to stock selection. About 2% was due to market timing differences. Asset mix, asset allocation, that was the big deal. Now, what they found, which was fascinating, was that when the pension plans engaged in these two activities, in one study it showed that 100% of the time, investment returns were lower and it increased risk. Not something you want when you're an investor. So this is something that we teach investors to help them sidestep some of these issues. Now, if you want to learn more about our approach to investing in financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Or you can call 615-851-1950.
They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
Don't.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught.
Yes.
It was our Justice Department.
Yes.
It was Obama and Biden.
It's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's wrong. So wrong.
I think what happened was disgraceful. Should never have happened.
Think about that.
Should never have happened.
Think of how that has changed everything.
Oh, it has changed everything, hasn't it? Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And they spied on that campaign using a portion of the NDAA that was reauthorized yesterday as the House passed their defense bill containing that deep state surveillance authorization, robbing lawmakers of the historic opportunity to reform the controversial Section 702 of the FISA Act, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. How do you feel about it? 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. I had the pleasure of listening, just like you did, to Murphy giving the business to Scott Desjardins yesterday. That was fun. Scott Desjardins, one of the guys in Tennessee that voted to reauthorize the NDAA. The other cast of characters didn't. Andy Ogles, he went on Twitter. He said, hell no. Tim Burchett, he sat it out. You know, he wasn't voting for that. But the House voted overwhelmingly to pass the NDAA Act. And Breitbart's describing it as a bill laced with an authorization of Section 702 of the FISA, a controversial surveillance law that was about to expire at the end of 2023. Now, more Democrats voted to pass the defense package than Republicans. And they're saying it's a move that angered Republicans when former Speaker Kevin McCarthy passed a stopgap spending bill earlier in 2023. Section 702 is a law that allows intelligence agencies to collect communications of targeted foreigners. It may also lead to targeted surveillance of Americans' private communications, which privacy advocates consider a runaround on the Fourth Amendment's requirement for a warrant to search for Americans' communications. The law was going to expire at the end of 2023. The NDAA contains a provision that extends Section 702 to April 19th. However, Senator Mike Lee in Utah and others argue that the intelligence agencies could very well use this extension into 2025. Awesome. This is what I think they're talking about when people describe the uniparty, when you have Republicans and Democrats both saying, you know what, let's go ahead and keep spying on Americans. That's a fun idea. It's a fun idea. Well, it is an Agenda Free Friday. It's one of my favorite days of the week. We can talk about anything that you want to talk about at 615-737-9986. Jack in Winchester wants to talk about illegal aliens. What's going on, Jack? You're next on Super Talk.
Yes, sir. I want to know why we cannot put a tracking device under the skin, like you can find your dog or your cat.
Well, that's very Mark of the Beast of you, sir.
And you cannot find. No, I'm good for the Lord. But you can't. People, once you just give them a piece of paper and tell them to show up, honestly, who is unhonorable? It ain't me.
I mean, listen, I get where you're at, and I totally hear you. I think your frustration is that we're just releasing these illegal aliens into the interior of the country, and then who knows where they go from there.
Yes, sir, and we need to be able to track them, You just tell them to come to court. They're not coming to court.
No, I get where you're at. I do, and it is frustrating. For me, I just don't think that we let them in the country at all. I think that that's more of a move than, putting a
you hard road on your side. Not going to happen. Not with Biden in there.
No, I get what you're saying, man, and I hear your frustration. Trust me, I do. Thanks for the call. I do appreciate it. On the border stuff, Mac, if you can cue up the yesterday's border update audio, thousands upon thousands of illegal aliens are showing up to this country daily. And yesterday morning they had a report, and it was like thousands upon thousands are showing up, and it's still early. Clip one, Mac. Oh, Nope, no worries. Max loading up the audio. I kind of pulled it on him by surprise. Me and Mac are still working out the fact that I'm in Phoenix, he's in Tennessee. I don't know what time it is, things like that. 615-737-9986 if you want to join in the conversation. But thousands upon thousands of illegal aliens are showing up daily. And if you see this video that's going viral of thousands of illegal aliens waiting to hop on a train about 3 hours south of Mexico, it is, 3 hours south of the border in Mexico, it's insane. It's insane. It's not just like, small groups, 5 people, 10 people. We're talking about groups of hundreds of people, battalion-sized groups, and they have thousands upon thousands of them showing up daily before 9 a.m. Thousands showing up, and these are the ones that are surrendering to the Border Patrol. These are the ones that want to be caught, so that way they can get that court order, like our friend was talking about, and then be released into the country with a piece of paper saying, show up to your court date on this day. And then, they don't show up. Weird how that works out. The Epic Times, they had a crazy article which was saying, Border Patrol is so demoralized at this point that they just feel like Uber drivers for illegal aliens. I feel for them because, again, thousands upon thousands of illegal aliens are showing up daily, and it's before the day really even kicks off. It's before breakfast. Mac, clip 1.
Just getting numbers across the entire southwest border, more than 9,000 encounters. And there are 9 sectors across the southwest border. 5 of the 9 had more than 1,000 encounters. Agents are getting overwhelmed from California through Arizona all the way to Texas. Let's go to that train video, though. Fox exclusively getting that from our sources. It was shot about 3 hours south of here near a town called Monclova. It is the route that the migrants have been using, Dana, for months to get to Eagle Pass, arriving in Piedras Negras, the Mexican town across from me. Those migrants right there, tens of thousands waiting to get on trains already full, should be here later tonight into tomorrow. This as we are already getting a group arriving here now.
It's insane. They're getting thousands upon thousands, and they're showing up non-stop. Non-stop. It's wild. And it shows no sign of slowing down. And again, these are battalion-sized groups. Mac, if you can hit clip 2 for me. Battalion-sized groups, my friends.
We can show you some drone footage, though, as we've been catching these large groups, Dana. Remember when we used to talk about a group of 50 to 100 was a big deal? These groups we are shooting on our drone this week are upwards of 500, 600, some of them 800 in one group yesterday. The one you're looking at now, over 1,000. In the week I've been here, Dana, there were nearly 15,000 migrants illegally crossing. And in the area of the known gotaways, as they see them but don't apprehend them, more than 1,100.
More than 1,100 known gotaways. And these are the ones that they see that they aren't apprehending. Groups of 800 showing up. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they say that there's a new phenomenon that's happening at the border that's incentivizing other illegal aliens to come. A Mexican journalist actually revealed this to Fox News, the new term that's driving this illegal immigration. Mac, if you can hit clip 3 for me. This is what the Mexican journalist revealed.
We talked to a Mexican journalist named Auden Cabello who gave us insight of the migrants and what they're saying on the Mexican side before they cross into the U.S., and he has an interesting term for what he says is driving all of this, Dana. Listen here.
I call it the selfie factor. So as soon as they cross, they take a selfie. They're communicating with their relatives back home saying, I'm already here in the U.S. So that's encouraging more of them to come, regardless of what they're seeing in the news, that migrants are in the streets, like in Chicago or New York.
So they cross, Dana, take a selfie, send it back to family or others, put it on social media. It drives more to come.
It's unreal. The selfie factor, how very 2023. Let's go to line 4. Andrew's in Nashville. He wants to talk about illegal aliens. Andrew, you're next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, what's up, Chris? Good morning. Yeah, man, it feels like an invasion, man. And, I can't blame them. If I was a Hispanic in Mexico, I'd probably be doing the same thing. I'm not advocating for it, but just trying to see from their perspective. But my point is how do we pay for all these people? How do we pay for the social structures that they're going to demand from our government? And with this real ID thing that's coming around, I believe it's 2025, where we all have to register for some special driver's license, and you're following me. These migrants, they're not going to be able to get that. So I believe that if you don't have the real ID, then you should pay a consumption tax at any retail location, a high consumption tax that pays for these social structures that they're taking advantage of. Say you add on the state sales tax, and then you add on 25% tax to whatever products that they buy in the store, and that goes to supporting them. It's not like we're going to get rid of them unless we get a whole different government system. So might as well pay for them with some way. And when they go and spend their dollars at the store, that tax helps to support their free feeding, their free housing, their free medical, and keeps our government, in the black, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I think keeping our government in the black is a pipe dream at this point. But I like where your head is at. I do. I fear that your idea does the opposite, though. It would penalize American citizens because, it wouldn't be the illegal aliens that have to prove they're illegal aliens. It would be you and I that have to prove we're legal citizens to avoid this consumption tax. So then if there was like a consumption tax like that, like you described, then, we're presenting ID to buy milk. Do you get where I'm at?
I get it, and I don't like it, but it's just an idea that it creates a level playing field. I don't want to scan my ID when I go buy everything and have the government know that what I'm buying. But I don't. This is the only way I see that it's feasible for a fair, equitable system that charges them to live in our country in a level playing, because they're not paying taxes. They're not paying 22.5% of their income. They're getting cash money and then going to buy whatever they want to, that's what I have the most problem with migrants. It's not the fact that they're looking for a better life. It's that they're getting a free ticket that we're having to pay for, and then our taxes go up even more and more and more. That's not equitable to us.
Yeah, you and me both, and I appreciate your call. And the price tag is about $451 billion a year, last I saw. Let's go to Fran next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Fran. What is it, Mac?
It's crayon, like the berry.
Cran. Okay, I thought you said Fran. Hey, Cran, what's up?
Hey, I grew up in Idaho.
Okay.
On a farm where we had a lot of migrant workers. And it was totally different than it was today. They absolutely planned to go back to Mexico, and they absolutely sent all their money back to Mexico that they did not spend on housing, which was provided by their farm employers. And it's a totally different world 30 years later. And they were legal immigrants. I just wanted to say that when Donald Trump said he wanted to do a mass deportation first day, is he going to go back to the old name for it?
What's the old name for it?
It was Operation Wetback. That was the largest deportation
yes.
in American history.
Yeah, I don't know if you would use that term for the optics. I mean, even just going for
bad optics.
Well, it's going to be bad optics no matter what. But I think that we can both agree that something needs to be done, and something like drastic moves need to be made quickly, or the country's unrecognizable. And honestly, I feel bad for Hispanic Americans that are here today. I mean, I'm in Phoenix right now, and it's like you walk around downtown Phoenix, and it's like, okay, well, I don't know who's a U.S. citizen and who's an illegal alien.
Well, you're not supposed to be able to tell by looking, but that's what the real ID is for, right?
Oh, yeah, real ID.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, I appreciate your call, Cran, and thank you for chiming in. Hey, love you too.
I'm so happy you're in Phoenix. It's
Hey,
an amazing town.
Yeah, I'm happy I'm here too. We're gonna have some fun. We're down here for a couple days. I'm gonna be doing the show Monday and Tuesday live out here, while Turning Point USA has America Fest happening, which America Fest is gonna be awesome. I just sent Mac the tentative schedule that we have. I mean, we got 4 days of the biggest conservatives in the movement speaking to the youth, which is pretty cool, man. From Patrick Bet-David to Tucker Carlson. We're going to have a concert from Big and Rich. We got, I mean, it goes on and on. Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, Donald Trump Jr., Steve Bannon, Benny Johnson. It's going to be a fantastic couple of days out here in Phoenix, and we'll recap it all as we can right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Now, it is getting cold out. It's cold already. And if you haven't gotten your heat system serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, you should do it now because you don't want to just wait for a problem to pop up with your heat this time of year. You got to be proactive to keep your unit in tippy-toppy shape. Whether you need that annual maintenance, repair, or replacement, call who I trust. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you do need to replace your system, you will not find a better value on replacement systems. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they offer up to 12 months, no payment, no interest with approved credit, and it pays in so many ways to sign up for the annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and air systems from Busy Bee. And for added rewards and savings, sign up to be a Busy Bee Hive member. You get front of the line service, so if there's tons of people without their heat, you're front in line because you're a Beehive member. You get that annual thorough maintenance on your plumbing and heating and air systems. You get no overtime charges 24/7, and you'll get 10% off all repairs. It pays in so many ways to be a Beehive member. Plus, they have convenient Saturday availability for those maintenance calls, so you'll never be left out in the cold. Busy Bee, they're your rude pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833 or online, busybeehvac.com.
I love the state of Tennessee. I love everything about it, and I love hunting and fishing in the state of Tennessee, and what you guys do is so great. I was born and raised here, and this song is for Tennessee and everybody in it. Well, I have roamed across the land, and I have sailed deepest sea. When I've drawn my last breath, do this one thing for me. Say, won't you take me back to Tennessee, where southern streams are flowing free. Me and mine, Lord, will always be right at home in Tennessee. Right at home in the woods of Tennessee. Right at home in Tennessee. Awesome.
10 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. U.S. officials on high alert after police overseas arrested suspected Hamas supporters for allegedly planning attacks on Jewish sites in Europe. Here's Pierre Thomas.
As police search for 4 other suspects, the Danish prime minister calling the arrest symbolic of an extremely serious situation, saying it was completely unacceptable for someone to bring the conflict in Israel to Denmark. And in Berlin, 3 people arrested along with another in the Netherlands for allegedly plotting to target Jewish institutions. And it's not just Europe on a high alert. U.S. officials say it's the most concerning terrorist environment since 9/11.
Yeah, 11 suspects arrested there in Europe. Former President Trump's lead in the polls is growing. This was him Wednesday in Iowa.
We're just 33 days away from Iowa, first in the nation. I wonder how you got that. You got that because of me. First in the nation caucuses, and we're going to keep you first in the nation for a long time.
Now, Trump holds a 51-point lead over Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. They're tied at 11%, according to the Hill Decision Desk headquarters primary polling average. But get this from the Washington Times. A new poll of voters by Morning Consult and Bloomberg News has Trump leading Biden in 7 swing states. New data shows a growing number of Americans say they're suffering from so-called tipping fatigue, from too many requests for tips in stores, restaurants, and more.
New data from payroll provider Gusto reports that as of November, service sector workers in non-restaurant jobs made 7% less in tips versus a year ago, from making $138 an hour in tips to now $128.
I think inflation is leading people to be especially stingy about how much they're spending. And I think that this proliferation of tip prompts is making people question the very nature of tipping.
And while tipping is down in some places, the holidays are bringing cheer for others, like workers in restaurant jobs. Gusto reporting tips are now up by 3%.
That's Eva Pilgrim reporting, and the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
.05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm broadcasting live from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm actually at the Renaissance in downtown Phoenix. We're here all weekend, and Monday and Tuesday we'll be doing the show live because we're here for Turning Point USA's AmFest. Pretty excited about this. It's going to be a wild weekend. I sent Mac the agenda. Did you look at it yet?
Dude, yeah. This is stacked.
It's stacked. It's stacked. I mean, like, everybody's going to be here. Senator Ted Cruz is making an appearance. Dennis Prager, Jack Posobiec, James O'Keefe. We got Tulsi Gabbard, Jonathan Isaac from the Orlando Magic.
Wow.
He's the one guy that didn't take a knee during the Black Lives Matter protests. He wouldn't kneel for the national anthem. So he's got a new shoe line coming out, and he's the first NBA player to put Christian Bible verses on his sneakers. He's an awesome guy, and we just the whole thing. Jason Whitlock is going to be here as well. I know you know Jason Whitlock,
of course,
with his based sports takes. But as we continue,
you said Ted Cruz is going to be there.
Yeah, Ted Cruz is going to be there.
I love hot dogs.
So make sure you get him a hot dog.
Dude, you want to know something so funny? The hotel that I'm at, the Renaissance in Phoenix, they have like a hot dog bar that's like open till 1 a.m. Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
It's like so random that you have that clip, and
oh yeah, I saved that for whenever Ted Cruz is.
I love hot dogs.
Do you just have that for whenever he's brought up?
Yeah, whenever he's brought up.
Yeah, all right. I didn't know that you had that ready to go, but I'm so happy you did.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be.
That was like the first week that you joined. I think you played that audio clip.
Oh no, that's Mitt Romney. That's not Ted Cruz.
I thought that was. Well, no wonder I forgot. I've just been holding it for months. I got to relabel this.
That was Mitt Romney trying to sound like an average American.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. It was. I think that was like National Hot Dog Day. He did that. Anyway, everybody loves hot dogs.
All right, I'll relabel it.
Yeah, relabel that. That's Mitt Romney. That's so random. But this is one of the things that I love about Fridays. We do Agenda Free Friday, where we can talk about anything you want to talk about. It's 615-737-9986. On the line right now is RC in the borough, and he wants to talk about, you have something on Tucker Carlson, RC?
Yeah, man, I was wanting to see if you had seen the interview with Dave Rush, and, pretty much the cat's out of the bag that there are some other things in the atmosphere, and our government knows about it, and we don't have to get read in like everybody, like the top tier, but we at least got to be in the know. I mean, what more important topic would there be? And then, but most importantly, I want to, see your thoughts about Tucker Carlson Network, and, why wouldn't all, not only conservative, but just truth-telling media outlets, why wouldn't they just aggregate under him and he just toppled the whole dinosaur media network? Obviously, they probably put a bullet in him before that, but like with this move though, isn't this, with X2, like, isn't this like a game changer kind of thing for truth and the way that we receive information? And just want to see your thoughts about that.
All right. So, I mean, there's a couple things, and hang on the line because we can go back and forth about this. So, let's start with his interview that he did. He said he was asked, are there anything that you're afraid to discuss? And he said, yes, there's two topics. The first, he said, was the 2020 election, which I think was far more telling than anything else. He's afraid to cover the 2020 election. Moving on from that, he said the other thing he's afraid to talk about is aliens, essentially. And he said there's a spiritual element, and there's a lot that's been revealed to him through back channels that, really freaks him out. I've read the conspiracy theories online. It's like, after Roswell, there was like a treaty with all these aliens and yada, yada, yada. I don't know what the truth is there. I do think there's something to it. My theory is always that I don't really buy into the alien stuff, and I like the theory of whenever you see a UFO, it's actually a time traveler coming back to inspect things. I don't know what the truth is, but I do like the internet theories. I find it fascinating that he said he was scared to discuss it, though. To your other point on him and the Tucker Carlson News Network, I think it's great. I love the way that he trolled mainstream media by parking his billboards outside of CNN and the New York Times, and he parked a digital billboard outside of their offices to say, mainstream media is dead. Here's the thing that makes me feel like it's not going to be as powerful as it could be. There's a cost associated with it. I think he's far more powerful putting his show out for free on a platform like X or Twitter, and doing sponsorships and doing his own ad revenue deals through that. Because, how it is out there. Grocery prices are up. Housing prices are up. Everything's so expensive. Do you really have another $9 to fork over to another streaming service and go behind another paywall? The Daily Wire is great. I love the Daily Wire. But I have 4 kids. I'm not going to pay for the streaming service. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And with X, he's actually saying, a bulk of it will be on X. And it's kind of more like the Tucker fans for the Tucker Carlson Network. But like you said, that kind of limits its powerfulness. So I agree there. But the thing about the aliens, man, or whatever they are, is that he would say things like, there was a nefarious element that freaked me out. So then I had to kind of step back. And the only reason that I would hide, if me and you were friends, the only reason I would hide something from you is if I didn't want you to know, or if it embarrassed me, if it was wrong, So we're not asking the government to give us clean sheets, but all we're asking is that you level with us, because you've been lying to us so much that now it's just like, man, is this how a republic is supposed to work? I guess that's why he said, it's a republic if you can keep it, because as America has progressed down this road, it's like we're the frog in the pot, and it's getting hotter, and they're tightening the grip, and unless Trump comes in, and it's just not necessarily just Trump, unless truth comes in, truth doesn't need defending, it just needs to have an avenue. It's like water going downhill. As long as it has a path, it'll find the truth seekers, and I just hope that Tucker Carlson Network isn't beholden to anything. That's the only reason I would agree with the paywall, is that it kind of fortifies him away from having to have his mic capped. And all about that. I'm just glad that you're a part of it. Glad you're in Phoenix, and I'm glad, that you're kind of speaking for our generation. I've listened to WTN for a long time, and, not knocking them or anything, but I'm the same age as you, got the same kind of age kids. I live in Murfreesboro. Small business owner, so I kind of whenever you speak, it's more like, okay, this is kind of what I would say. Even the bumper music, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the bumper music is high quality. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, no, I appreciate you. Here's the thing, though. It's like, even if the government has lied to us so much over the years, that there's a contingent of people that even if they came out tomorrow and said, yeah, aliens are real, they're from planet Delta X9 in the Scromulan galaxy, or they gave a whole bunch of facts, there would be a contingent of people that would be like, well, I don't believe you because I've seen theories on Project Bluebeam and how you're going to fake an alien invasion to, solidify a one world government. So I think that the government is in a tough spot because of the lies that they've told. That we're at a point in history where even if they're telling the truth, there's going to be a large majority, no matter what side they're on. You know what I mean? That's going to say, I don't believe you because of X and Y. And they'll have plenty of evidence to support why they don't believe them and why they could be lying again. And I think that's the biggest thing. They've lost so much credibility because it would be you're lying again. No matter what the situation is, we think you're lying again. And there would be people that would gravitate towards that, even if it was the truth.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris, for taking my call, dude.
Hey, man, thanks for calling in. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. Tell Mac offline or text in what your small business is in Murfreesboro, because I'm going to come see you one day, and I'll bring the kids and buy some things. So I'll definitely do that. We got any other calls on the line right now, Mac? At 615-737-9986.
Yeah, we got Aaron on line 2. Want to talk about illegals, and we've got Joe talking about Trump.
All right, let's go to Aaron, and then we'll go to Joe. Aaron, you're next on Super Talk 99.7 on this Agenda Free Friday. What's up, Aaron?
Hi, what's up? How are you?
Hey, man, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Man, you might have already seen this, I don't know, but there's a YouTube series by British YouTuber called Bald and Bankrupt, all right? And I believe he starts out in Venezuela, and he makes the trek to Colombia through the Darien Gap into Panama and makes it all the way to the U.S. border, and he filmed the whole thing. So if you want to really get a scale of the migrant situation...
What was the name of that video again?
The guy's called Bald and Bankrupt. It'd be like his latest video. It's 2 or 3 parts long. But the biggest takeaway from it for me, was there was people he was meeting from Haiti, from Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Iran. Just all over the world.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Thanks for sharing that. I'll definitely check it out. I played a clip the other day about a Chinese, basically a Chinese national hotel that all the Chinese are stopping at in Colombia, doing basically what you're describing. An underground railroad through South America to America. And it's wild. And these plans are laid out. The travel paths are pre-established. None of this is just by accident. Yeah, weird, huh? Let's go to what did you say the next caller was? Was it Joe talking about Trump? Yeah, let's go to Joe on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Joe?
Yeah, good morning. You do a good job. I recommend you for a raise.
Oh, please send an email to Dan. I love that idea.
I'm retired. I'm retired for the Metro Criminal Court.
Okay.
I worked for the criminal court system for 15 years, and the Metro government is 95% Democrat. I hope you know that.
Oh, I do.
And I'm an independent. So I had to keep my beliefs and my support to myself so I wouldn't get assassinated. But what I want to talk about is Donald Trump.
All right, hit me. What do you want to say?
The Democrat government will make sure Donald Trump will never be elected. But if he survives all of this court crap and gets elected president, I'll put my money that the Democrat government will assassinate that man in 6 months.
Well, I pray that doesn't happen. But, a lot of popular voices have said that, from Tucker Carlson down on the line. Like, well, what's next? You've thrown everything at him.
The government is not going to give up their power. I'm sorry. This country is run by corrupt Democrats. And everybody in this country can vote for Donald Trump. Ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong. I pray for the best, fear for the worst, and prepare for everything in between. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. It's an opinion that a lot of people share because everything they've thrown at this guy hasn't stuck. I do want to play this clip of audio, and Mac, we talked about playing this, and it kind of ties everything together. It ties together Trump. It ties together the illegal alien crisis. There's a black Chicagoan who wants this message heard everywhere. This is from Real America's Voice. A reporter there got an interview with this guy. This is about 2 minutes long. It's longer than I would normally play, but this individual, black guy from Chicago, he says, he wants everyone to see or hear this. It's from Ben Bergquam on Real America's Voice. And this message from this individual is so good that I wanted to make sure you heard it. And I feel like it puts a nice end cap on this conversation. And then we'll take more of your calls next at 615-737-9986. So, Mac, if you can, play this next clip. And again, it ties together the illegal alien crisis. It ties together the need for real leadership in Donald Trump. And this message, he wants everyone to see and hear this.
Black people have not overcome the legacy of slavery, and bringing a new people in to compete with us for jobs, goods, contracts, and service is devastating to our community.
How you doing, sir? Just a second.
Mayor, why are you selling out Chicago for illegal aliens? Why are you blaming right-wing extremists instead of the Democrat Party that caused this? The citizens of Chicago know the truth.
And we resent the government letting these people come in under the disguise of sanctuary, under the disguise of new Americans. What about the old Americans? They do not do checks on these people. They know nothing about them. Their health, mental health, physical health. They don't know if they're criminals or nothing. So I just can't believe it. Black people have been on the Democratic plantation long enough. We have to teach these people, these Democrats, how to treat us. We cannot continue to just vote blindly for the Democrats. I'm anti-Democrat, and for whatever reason, seems like to me the black man mind is just messed up with this Democratic machine. And the Democratic machine is not working for us. Try Trump out. Try the Republican out. It can't get any worse. Right here in the city of Chicago is the most corrupt city in America. Owner number one, Chicago. Thank you very, very much. And make this be seen and heard all over the world. Thank you. Make America great again. We vote for Trump. Amen.
Well, you got to hear what the National Weather Service storm survey teams are finding about homes and how they were secured to their foundations before the tornado outbreak, and a rare appearance by former First Lady Melania Trump in our nation's capital. Hear what she has to say at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Was it something negative about the Jill Biden Christmas video?
You'll just have to wait and see, Brother Chris.
All right. She's probably too classy for that.
Got to get that TSL, brother.
Oh, I love it. Listen, it is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The time is 10:26. I'm doing pretty good on not messing up the time, fellas.
Hey, nice.
As I broadcast live from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm at the Renaissance downtown here all weekend long, doing the show here live Monday and Tuesday as well for Turning Point USA's America Fest. I'm getting a bunch of texts on that clip we played from the elderly black gentleman in Chicago. My wife said that is the true meaning of a patriot. I love what he said. He said, try Trump out. What else we got to lose? It's not going to get much worse. I would agree. Sir. It can't get much worse. I mean, at least we can pray for that, right? It's an Agenda Free Friday. We can talk about anything you want to talk about at 615-737-9986. Mac, where are we going next on the phone lines?
Let's go to Dave in Clarksville who wants to talk about global warming.
Dave in Clarksville, global warming. Biggest scam ever or biggest scam of all time, my friend?
Well, it's the biggest scam, I think. But the reason why I mention it is because I figure we could use logic. You know what I mean? Because don't they say that like the biggest catastrophe with it or biggest cause is overpopulation, and so they just have this siege of just aliens just coming over the border. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So wouldn't that benefit to like shut the border to calm down climate change and global warming? You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know, but I mean, with the cost of emissions, which they cut down, but still, I mean, you got carbon monoxide, the CO2, and the trees feed off of. But hey, what do I know about the science? Even though we follow the science on everything else, but on not what it matters. So it's kind of just one of those things. But that's what I figure. It's not really just global warming. It's just all in all in general. With the migrants coming over. So can we use logic against them and be like, hey, this is why we need to shut the border? Climate change. Global warming. It's gonna be a catastrophe,
I mean, if any of these climate change activists really cared about, conserving nature, they would just need one trip down to the border to see all the trash that these illegal aliens are leaving behind and how they're ruining all of that area, and it would show them right away that we need to close the border. But they won't.
No,
I mean,
right.
Climate change is about one thing. It's about control. And it's been about that since the 70s. They were warning about the Ice Age. It's been that way since I remember being in, fourth grade, and they were telling me, you got to be careful. It's going to be acid rain. It's about fear, and it's about control. And that's been
Right.
their game plan for forever,
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I got friends down in Sierra Vista and down right there by the border in Arizona. And luckily the migrants ain't really hit there, or whatever you want to call them, haven't really hit there too much. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's crazy. You can see the blimps just going up and down through there, man. It's crazy, unreal. So
It is crazy. I don't want to go too much into blimp talk, or we're going to get a bunch of people texting us about the blimp in Murfreesboro. Yeah. The blimp is still overhead. Hey, I appreciate your call, man. Thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, man. You have a good one.
Hey, you too. God bless. And anything you guys want to talk about, we can talk about at 615-737-9986. It is 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here's Ken Weaver with the news.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, Channel 4 says the National Weather Service in their tornado damage surveys are finding homes were improperly secured to foundations before the tornado outbreak on Saturday. This is Mayor Joe Pitts.
We want whatever evidence that the National Weather Service or whoever did that assessment has so that we can then follow up. And if anybody's cutting corners, We want to know who they are.
Channel 4 says it reviewed data from the National Weather Service and found inspectors determined multiple homes in the North Clarksville region were only secured to their foundations using nails. Right now in our nation's capital, First Lady Melania Trump delivering remarks at a ceremony for 25 immigrants being sworn in as U.S. citizens.
Becoming an American citizen comes with responsibility. It means actively participating in the democratic process and guarding our freedom.
A source familiar with the circumstances said that Melania Trump considered the invitation an honor. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. What's one of the biggest mistakes that I find that investors make? Well, it's typically buying based on past performance. We look at our 401k, we try to decide which fund should I buy, and tend to look at historical past performance over 3, 5, and you even hear investment advisors telling people to look at 3, 5, and 10-year track records. The problem is that what do markets do? They go up and they go down. Well, where did this have a great past performance? Here to here. So we end up buying high. We found that there was one study back in 1986, and it was called the Brinson-Hooden-Biebauer study. And they were looking at what drove investment returns more than anything else. And the study sort of looked like this. They said, stock selection, about 4% of investment differences were due to stock selection. About 2% was due to market timing differences. Asset mix, asset allocation, that was the big deal. Now, what they found, which was fascinating, was that when the pension plans engaged in these two activities, in one study it showed that 100% of the time, investment returns were lower and it increased risk. Not something you want when you're an investor. So this is something that we teach investors to help them sidestep some of these issues. Now, if you want to learn more about our approach to investing in financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Or you can call 615-851-1950.
10:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's Chris Hand broadcasting live from the Renaissance Hotel in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to be here all weekend long for AmFest. I'll be doing my show live for Turning Point USA's AmFest on Monday and Tuesday. I've been getting a lot of texts, and we've been getting a lot of calls about that clip we played from that Patriot, the African-American elderly gentleman in Chicago, talking about we need to vote for Trump. And if you missed it or you want to see it again, you want to share it with your friends, he wants that shared everywhere. I posted it on my Twitter account, and the 99.7 WTN Twitter account also retweeted it. So just find me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. As we continue, let's go to Nicole in Nolensville next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Nicole, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for calling in. What do you got?
So I'm a Chicago expat. We've been in Tennessee about a year and a half now.
What do you
happily.
think? Do you like it?
Oh, I love it here. I wish we would have got here sooner. But back to Chicago, that the site you posted from, he has other videos from other people speaking, other African Americans speaking about they're going to vote for Trump. A couple of weeks ago, some people were in City Hall. Some African Americans speaking they were going to vote for Trump. The only reason Illinois is blue is because of Chicago. And if any Republican candidate takes the time to go campaign in Chicago and go into the neighborhoods like Inglewood and Austin, like the south and west sides, there is a chance that Illinois could go red. I mean, it's a long shot. I get it. But if anybody even takes the time to go campaign there and lets a whole demographic feel like somebody does give a damn, it could change a lot of things that are going on in Chicago right now. I mean, we could spend hours talking about what's wrong with Chicago.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's enough time in the day to talk about what's wrong with Chicago. But I think that you're right. And, I saw a video where it was a couple Chicago residents saying to Trump, we're sending you a direct message. Come to Chicago, march with us. We'll get thousands of people behind you.
Yes, that's the one. That's the exact one I'm talking about.
Yep, and I'll say this: I think that you're right that there would be an opportunity to snag some votes there. I don't know if there's an opportunity to turn it red. At least Chicago.
I agree, it's a long shot, but at least hopefully it'll set the mayorship. Like whenever the idiot that's in there now, Brandon Johnson, who goes to, I'm positive, the Kamala Harris word salad school is speaking, and even right now to go to a city council meeting, now you have to show your ID to go into a city council meeting. I don't even have to show my ID to vote.
Well, I saw a city council meeting where they were saying, they're being so overrun with illegal aliens that their grandmothers are being harassed. There's extra crime from them. And I saw a Chicago resident who was, I don't know, maybe in his 20s, 30s, young 30s. And he said, listen, if you guys don't handle this problem, we're going to handle it in the streets. Like, Chicago it's a powder keg. It's a powder keg.
Well, it is. And yesterday, the alderman voted to keep to not allow on the ballot whether the voters of Chicago can decide if they're going to stay a sanctuary city. And the alderman voted against letting that be on the ballot.
Weird, right?
So it's just that the crime is out of control. They want to take away magnet schools so kids who are underprivileged can't even go to the better schools. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just this bad downward spiral. It's Detroit all over again. It's sad. Yeah. It's very sad.
Well, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm of the opinion that the one Republican that's going to gain that black support for the black vote is Trump. I don't see a DeSantis or a Nikki Haley going into Chicago and walking those streets, walking those neighborhoods, and gaining
100%.
that kind of
I agree with that.
Support.
He's got the charisma. He's got the charisma. He's got everything about him that can draw people in. That is what is needed in those neighborhoods. So,
and he has the history. He has the history with the community. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved him until he ran for president. Donald Trump didn't become a racist until he decided to run for president as a Republican.
Correct. So, hoping. I don't know what's going to happen with 2024. It's going to be a wild ride, that's for sure. But I'm glad to be in Tennessee and not be in the chaos known as Chicago anymore.
Hey, I'm glad you're in Tennessee, too. You sound like the right kind of person that we want here, so I appreciate you coming and joining us in freedom. So thanks for the call, and thank you for listening. Really appreciate you. Again, if you didn't see the video of that elderly black resident from Chicago. It's on my Twitter page, at Chris Hand on Air, or on the 99.7 WTN Twitter page. Retweeted it there as well. So go check it out. This guy wanted everybody to see it. So please check it out. 1509 texted and he said that this lady from Chicago is correct. I grew up in southern Illinois. I was just back for Thanksgiving, and literally the whole state is red except for the Chicago area, which carries the whole state. Yeah, it's everybody in Illinois versus Chicago, it seems. Where are we going next on the phone lines, Mac?
Let's go to David in Hendersonville.
All right, David in Hendersonville, you're next on this Agenda Free Friday on the Chris Hand Show. What do you want to talk about, man? David.
I'm going to put David on hold, and we'll go to Calvin in Lebanon.
Calvin, you're next on the Chris Hand Show. What's up, Calvin?
Hey, Chris, first-time caller to you, and I just wanted to say you're doing a great job, and you're a great addition.
Hey, man, thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, on an Agenda Free Friday, I've been wanting to call in for a while, but yesterday kind of sealed that as an average American who doesn't make a lot of money, who's shriveling up and dying in this Biden economy, like everybody else is. And, there's people in a lot worse situations to me. But, I've given up on this conversation. I'm not one that gives up a lot, but this conversation of Washington quitting spending, I can't have that conversation no more. It's now, see, I'm losing my confidence with what they done yesterday, spending another almost $1 billion. And, Dave Charlet is one that always gets a check beside his name when I go and vote. And I'm not going to say that I'm not going to do that again, because who's going to do any better? The conversation with me now in Washington when it comes to spending is just how can we keep spending? Well, let's see, we can get the IRS $80 billion, and they can look at anybody they want to, and you can either fight them or you can't. That's yet to be seen, what's all going to happen there. But to me, this conversation about quitting spending is dead on arrival. Murphy said yesterday, he said we can never pay back this $34 billion. It's not at all possible. We can never pay it back. I just give up on these elected officials, and I am Republican, and I just give up on it, man. They're just going to keep spending, and it's now all about how can we keep spending. And I understand in Dave Charlet's and whoever else voted for this. He said yesterday when Matt was handing him in his rear there, he said...
Matt did such a great job with that.
Yeah, it was. But he said, hey, wait a minute, Matt. He said, what group of people are you talking to? Because he said the group of people I'm talking to, which is the military, says that their 5.6% raise is not enough for this inflation. I understand that. Maybe these guys done what they had to do. But the conversation of quitting spending, it's not about quitting spending in Washington. It's how we can keep spending. And, hey, I'm fixable. I listen to this radio station. I listen to all of y'all to get my knowledge, because when I start losing confidence, I have to listen to you, Murphy, Brian, Dan, and try to get something back. You're my only savior other than Trump getting back in. He's the only one that I have confidence in, and anyone that doesn't must not be an average person that's shriveling up in this economy. I just don't know how anyone cannot put a check beside his box, because I know this, he's getting mine. But I just needed to get that off my chest, and I'll get off there and listen to you.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Hey, let me ask you real quick. If Desjardins was primaried, would you think about voting for the other guy?
This is how ignorant I am to things. What exactly is the primary?
Like if somebody ran against him, would you consider voting for someone else other than Desjardins because of that vote yesterday?
Gosh, I would highly consider it, but I would have, this is where my confidence level is, Chris. Is this guy really going to do what he says? So that's where I'm at with everybody in this Republican. Didn't even Mike Johnson vote for this?
Yep, Mike Johnson did, Steve Scalise did, Elise Stefanik did. I mean, there were Lauren Boebert did. There were,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would seriously consider, but I would have in the back of my mind. See, my wife has said this for years, and I try not to listen to it, but what she is saying literally comes to mind now. Every time it comes to an election and we're talking about going to the polls, and I tell her who we need to vote for, she says, what's it matter? She said, they're just going to pick up where the last one left off. That's where I'm getting at. I hear my wife in the back of my mind now. With what happened yesterday, is it just another person that's going to pick up where the last one left off? So, yeah.
Okay, and hey, one more question for you before I let you go. And this is I don't want you to think this is for me, but this is from the people that are chiming in on the super text line. They want to confirm that you are not actually Senator Kennedy from Louisiana.
I am not. I know what. I don't have a good radio voice.
No, you got a great radio voice, man. You sound awesome. Everybody thinks you sound like Senator Kennedy. I mean, that is a compliment of the highest order, my friend.
You have to catch me on a roll, and this here was just sinking in, and I was on a roll. So
I love it,
okay.
Man. Hey, you can call anytime. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
Hey, anytime, Mr. Senator. I don't think that was actually Senator Kennedy.
No, I don't think so.
Great guy, great call, and he's right. The government spending is not going to stop. But I mean, we had how many texts did we get about? Are you on the phone with John Kennedy?
Yeah, enough to make me actually wonder if that was John Kennedy.
Yeah, I think Senator Kennedy would be a little bit too busy then to call in to random radio shows to go off about Desjardins, but and government spending. Maybe not. Maybe that's just what he wants us to think. But we got more calls. 615-737-9986. Where are we going next, Mac?
Yeah, I still think David's not there yet. So we'll go to Rudy. He's driving. He wants to talk about illegals and also the NDAA.
All right, Rudy, you're up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's going on, Rudy?
Hey, is Tim Hortons coffee shop up in Canada? That's the only thing I'm going to say that's a jokish sort of towards you.
Hey, don't knock a Timbit until you try it, my friend.
No, I have. I know what you're talking about when you say that. It is good.
All right, cool. Yeah, all right. What's going on?
I want to see us take back the language, and what I mean by that is that we keep referring to the people that are crossing the border as migrants. We need to call them what they are. They're not migrants. When I was growing up down in Florida, there were migrants that came annually to do work, and then they would go home. Those are migrants. Mm-hmm. These are people crossing the border. They're illegal aliens. And I think the liberals and the progressives and the Democrats have stolen the language from us on that one.
That's what the left does. That's what the left does. The left manipulates the language,
Yeah. And the other thing is I want to agree with the previous caller, Senator Kennedy, that, the spending's got to stop. I love that, man. He did sound like him.
Yeah, he did.
The spending, I think they can get control of it if they stop bundling everything together. Whether it's an omnibus or a short-term budget passing thing, if they would go line by line, they could cut some of this stuff out, man, because it's just ridiculous. I mean, DeSarlet's getting hung out to dry to a certain extent because there's stuff he wants to vote for in it, but he can't vote for it. He doesn't. I think some of these politicians are getting stuck because it is bundled together is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, when I started radio, one of my program directors, and I was in music radio, he told me one thought per break. And I feel like we need to adopt that same process with these spending bills. Just one item per bill, and that will solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, because they kind of get hijacked and blackmailed into voting for things that they didn't really want to vote for because they want to help the military or they want to help cut some things here and there, but they can't get it all because it's all bundled in an omnibus or some special budget bill.
Well, and then they manipulate it because they'll sneak in reauthorizing Section 702 for FISA surveillance of American citizens, right? They'll sneak that in, but if you don't vote for it, then they'll run an election against you and they'll say, Tim Burchett voted against giving the military raises. You know what I mean? It's not a fair argument.
They won't say what he really voted against it for.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the game plan. That's all part of. It's all baked into the deal. Hey, I appreciate your call. Thanks for listening. We got time for one more call. Where are we going, Mac?
David in Columbia. He wants to talk about what really matters.
All right, David, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris, as I was practicing that new Hunter Biden dance this morning, I remembered I'm going to do some Canadian stuff this weekend. I'm going to my first Preds game, brother.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Hey, man, I get it. I'm originally from Oregon, so when I first moved to Tennessee, I get it all the time, and they'd say, hey, are you Canadian? I'd be like, what? No, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I'm actually there's a guy coming down here from Canada to Phoenix. He's doing some Canadian things, fighting against Justin Castro and the government up there. So I'm gonna get a real Canadian on the show on Monday or Tuesday, and let everybody know what a real Canadian sounds like, so we can stop the shenanigans.
If people only understood, like in Oregon, we kind of find offense to it because we really don't care for Canadians all that much. They're horrible drivers. And they're just super opinionated people. They will butt into a political conversation and tell you how they really think.
Yeah,
and it's usually
it's wrong.
Liberal talking points.
Yep. Yep.
So, hey, man, thanks for all you guys do. Like you, Dan, Matt, Brian, and Mac. All you guys. You guys are wonderful. So
hey, we do it for you guys, and we really appreciate you listening. Thanks so much. It is now 10:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Agenda Free Friday continues with more of your calls next on Super Talk. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Paul Winkler and Paul Winkler, Inc. Now, I have 4 kids, me and my wife. We needed a financial plan. We didn't have one, but as you know, financial stability and future plans, it's a big priority when you have this many kids. Well, we were thinking about paying for weddings, maybe paying for college down the road, hopefully not, maybe a trade school. But we didn't know really how we were going to save and plan for that, and we do now, because we linked up with Paul Winkler, Inc. Now, Paul and his team hold themselves to a higher level of fiduciary standard than is required, and because of that, I got to tell you, I'm paid every time this commercial airs. That's the truth. But that's not why I'm a client of Paul's. I'm a client of Paul's because he was able to answer my financial questions in a way that a guy like me could understand, and he can do the exact same thing for you. I'm basically financially illiterate, or at least I was until I started talking with Paul. Now, when I got to sit down with Paul, break bread, have my financial questions answered honestly, and I decided to become a client myself. I'm impressed with Paul and his team. Paul's a smart guy. He knows the financial world better than I do, and with his team, I say this all the time. I can't stress it enough. Nothing is done on commission. It's huge. That gives me such peace of mind because I know that the advice and the recommendations that they're giving me for my financial future is for my financial future because nothing is done on commission. But they are big on education, and the education they provide is evidence-based and backed by Nobel Prize-winning research. So if you want to learn and you want to make a plan for your financial future, you should do what I did and check these guys out. Every office is run by a degree planner with over 20 years of experience, and you can feel the difference between Paul and the rest because that experience that Paul and his team have equals confidence. So talk to one of his team members today. Set up a complimentary 15-minute phone call right now on his website, paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com, or call 615-851-1950.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we've got some problems in traffic to tell you about right now. Green Hills, an injury crash is blocking Hillsborough Pike at I-440. Full forecast in 2 minutes. New developments in that applesauce recall. CNN reports an FDA official believes the lead contamination in recalled applesauce pouches may have been an intentional act. Deputy Commissioner for Human Foods with the FDA told Politico the agency is still investigating the matter, but so far, all signs point to someone in the supply chain contaminating pouches on purpose. Now, according to the New Jersey Poison Control Center, contaminated spices are, quote, incredibly common. Sometimes this happens naturally because of metals in soil, but other times it's intentional to add weight to a product. At least 65 children reported getting sick after eating these applesauce pouches sold under the Wanabana, Weiss, and Schnucks brands. Sometimes, again, this is done intentionally to add weight to a product, according to officials. Right now in Middle Tennessee, Channel 4 says the National Weather Service and their tornado damage surveys are finding that homes were improperly secured to foundations before the tornado outbreak on Saturday. Chrissy Hurley is one of the inspectors and tells Channel 4 several homes in North Clarksville were secured to their foundations by nails only.
Without any kind of strapping or extra, anchoring. It is really a bad situation when you have 150-mile-per-hour winds.
Clarksville Mayor Joe Pitt says the city wants to see that evidence and then to follow up on improperly secured foundations. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
I love the state of Tennessee. I love everything about it, and I love hunting and fishing in the state of Tennessee, and what you guys do is so great. I was born and raised here, and this song is for Tennessee and everybody in it. Well, I have roamed across the land, and I have sailed deepest sea. When I've drawn my last breath, do this one thing for me. Say, won't you take me back to Tennessee, where southern streams are flowing free. Me and mine, Lord, will always be right at home in Tennessee. Right at home in the woods of Tennessee. Right at home in Tennessee. Awesome.
.04 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, broadcasting live from the Renaissance Hotel, downtown Phoenix, Arizona. I am in Arizona for Turning Point USA's America Fest. We got a banger of a weekend ahead of us. We're going to be doing the show out here live on Monday and Tuesday as well. I mean, the biggest names in the conservative movement are converging on Arizona this weekend. We got Charlie Kirk, obviously, but Patrick Bet-David to Ted Cruz, Riley Gaines. We got Vivek Ramaswamy, Kerry Lake, Ali Stuckey. Everybody's going to be here. Dr. Ben Carson. Even World Outreach Church in Murfreesboro, even Pastor Alan Jackson is going to be at America Fest over the weekend speaking, which is just super cool. What a blessing to have him here to speak to a new audience. It's going to be a wild weekend. It's going to be an absolutely wild weekend, and I'm blessed to be able to be a part of it. And I'm blessed to be able to let you be a part of it as well as we broadcast live on Monday and Tuesday. You can watch all of the stuff from America Fest. They're going to be live streaming it at tpusa.com and amfest.com. So if you want to watch any of it, it's going to be there for you. And as we continue, it's an agenda-free Friday. I did bring something to the table today for you, Mac.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Well, you've probably covered it in your wildly popular Behind the Box Score podcast. Do you have a new episode out yet?
Yeah, released one this week. Yep, just a couple of days ago.
Well, I got some content for you for the next one.
Okay, great.
All right.
What do you got?
Have you seen the video of LeBron James sitting for the national anthem?
Oh, I have not.
So LeBron James goes to a college basketball game, and he completely ignores the national anthem, and he sits down. Gee whiz. Thanks, LeBron. Well, a lot of people have been reacting to this, including Enes Kanter. And you know Enes Kanter. He played for the Celtics for a while. He's played all over the NBA.
I believe it's Enes Freedom now, correct?
Oh, yes. It's Enes Freedom
Enes Freedom,
now.
yes.
See, this is I'm showing my age. I remember when he was Enes Kanter.
He was Enes Kanter, yeah.
I remember when Meta World Peace was Ron Artest.
That's exactly.
So Enes Kanter. Just like I'm not going to call Twitter X.
Yeah, exactly. Enes Kanter's Enes Kanter.
Enes Kanter. He went on Fox News, and he discussed LeBron sitting for the national anthem, and he made some good points. Now, Enes Kanter can't go back to his home country because he speaks out against the government. A lot of people believe Enes Kanter doesn't have an NBA contract because he's spoken out against China and the blood on their hands and how they treat the Uyghur Muslims and how the NBA basically just bends the knee for China any chance they get. So he's very outspoken. A lot of people think that that's why he doesn't have an NBA contract right now. But Enes Kanter went on Fox News to discuss LeBron James sitting for the national anthem, and this is what that sounded like.
LeBron James will stand up for anyone who pays him the most money. I mean, if that was a Chinese national anthem, trust me, he would have stand up and put his hand on his heart. It's just such a shame because there are many brave people fought so hard for this country, men and women. So LeBron and everyone can live a better life, free life, and peaceful life. And this is how you appreciate him. This country made you a billionaire. This country made you a worldwide basketball star. What a poor example. And also, this is happening in a college game. There are thousands of kids in that arena idolizing you. By you walking and disrespecting the flag, disrespecting our country, it's a poor representation. So he should know better.
He should know better, and I feel like we're losing those role models in sports, and LeBron James being the face of the NBA should kind of, stop with this childish behavior and stand for the national anthem and be grateful to live in this country and be grateful for the blessings that he has and what's been afforded to him for playing a game. He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. And a lot of the money he makes via jersey sales, via shoe sales, are on the backs of little tiny hands in China. He, like Enes Kanter said, if they were playing the Chinese national anthem, he would have been standing. He would have been at attention. And I will say this. Enes Kanter wasn't really over the top. He wasn't rude or mean. But UFC fighter Kobe Covington, he did not take the same approach to LeBron sitting for the national anthem as Enes Kanter did. Kobe Covington, who's very outspoken, went to a UFC press conference dressed as George Washington with a MAGA hat on. He's absolutely based. But Kobe Covington kind of took a different route with his reaction to LeBron James sitting for the national anthem, and this is what that sounded like.
If you hate America so much and you don't like this country that gave you $1 billion, leave it or come deal with me. You go to China, go to these sweatshops that you employ all these laborers and use these women and pay them pennies on the dollar to make your millions. You, LeBron James, you're a coward. You're a spineless coward. And you're
Yeah, a little bit different than Enes Kanter. Little different take.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Similar message, different delivery. What do you think about LeBron James sitting for the national anthem? 615-737-9986. Are you surprised? Is it like, oh, yeah, this checks out. This is what they do. You know, one of the guys that I'm excited to hear from this weekend while we're here at America Fest is Jonathan Isaac. If you don't know Jonathan Isaac, he's an NBA player. He doesn't get a lot of media coverage, and I think one of the reasons is he didn't kneel for the national anthem during the Summer of Love and the Black Lives Matter riots. He was one of the only NBA players that stood for the national anthem. He's going to be speaking this weekend at America Fest. I'm looking forward to what he's doing, and I love what he's doing because it's like one of those areas where like I don't think that we should concede it to the left. Like a lot of people say, well, just don't go watch the NBA. And I think that that's the wrong move. I think the move is, as the consumer, putting our money in with people that don't hate us, and one of those guys is Jonathan Isaac. And he started a whole shoe line, Judah Sports, where he's creating basketball shoes with Bible verses on them. And he's written books, and he's speaking out against the woke stuff. And he's a good basketball player. I mean, every time the Celtics play him, and I do still watch the Celtics occasionally, he guards Jason Tatum and gives him fits. Like, he's not a slouch, right? Like, he's not a bad basketball player by any stretch of the imagination. I think he doesn't get the immediate coverage because he doesn't go with the woke agenda. But I think as the consumer, we should stand up for guys like that and buy his jersey and buy his sneakers and support people that don't hate us, as opposed to leaving that arena and not participating at all. Because if we give away everything in these sporting realms, we're just handing it over to them. Kids are still going to watch sports no matter what. There was another story where Dana White wants you to drink gallons of Bud Light. I want to know what you guys think about that as well. 615-737-9986. What do you? I mean, is that weird that they're stepping out and being pro Bud Light now? What do you think about that?
What? So Dana White said just drink Bud Light
by the gallon. He said you should drink it by the gallon.
Okay.
Now here's the thing, and Kid Rock has been like pro Bud Light. Listen, I'm a capitalist, okay, and I think that it's good that the UFC is getting their money, and I think that Dana White is being paid to say nice things, and that's fine. I'm not knocking him for that. But I think as conservatives in that arena as well, we need to just say, yeah, that's great that you're getting their money. We're still not buying Bud Light. Like, sorry, get your money. We're still not going to bend the knee to Bud Light. I'm over supporting companies that hate us. You know, for me personally, I don't buy alcohol at all. I don't drink, so I have no dog in the fight. But I think that as a capitalist, cool, get your money. If Bud Light wants to throw money away, I think that we should let them, and I think that we should still continue not supporting a product that is pushing a trans agenda. And also with the Dylan Mulvaney stuff, when Bud Light went with Dylan Mulvaney, as they sent him those cans and stuff like that, Dylan Mulvaney markets himself towards children at the end of the day. They have I don't really want to go down the rabbit hole of Dylan Mulvaney, but he's pushed towards children via TikTok, and I'm not forgiving Bud Light for that. I won't. That they went too far, and I don't think anybody should forgive him for that. However, I think that Dana White, you want to be a capitalist, you want to get your money, cool. That's fine. I still don't think that we should support them. 1002 texted in and said Dana White, like LeBron, are ladies of the night for the almighty dollar. I think that's the best way I can put that. Ladies of the night for the almighty dollar. Yep. 8512 texted in, said, those people are trying to change their cause of sitting or kneeling during the national anthem. Don't fall for it. they still mean the exact same message that Kaepernick started. I got a text from 9875. LeBron is an overgrown child who plays a kid's game for a living. He should have his citizenship revoked and deport his sorry butt. Well, I don't think we can deport citizens. I don't know. I'd have to look into the fine print.
Yeah, 1744 says it's his right as an American to choose to sit. Also, just watching the video, he was walking into the arena as the national anthem was playing with his family, got to their seats, and then they all sat down. Not saying that changes it or makes it any better. Just to give people the full picture, he wasn't just standing up at his seat and then chose to sit down right away. We've got a couple calls about this, Chris. If we want to take some calls about LeBron,
let's jump in.
Yeah, let's go. Troy in Nashville.
All right, hey, what's up, Troy? You're next on Super Talk 99.7.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good. So my input on is, our country was founded, military and all that. Lives have been given. I think everybody should respect our flag. But, it's not just sitting down for our flag. I live out in Smith County, and there's a couple places they're flying their flags upside down. You got people running around here flying their flags in their country out the windows of their cars. They come across our border for free. They live off our government. We support them, but yet here we are slapped in the face every time we turn around. And on another aspect of it, as an American that's proud to be an American, it's getting to the point where a lot of Americans are sick and tired of what we go through. And a perfect example, we got a flag in our neighborhood that flies at half-mast in memory of America.
Crazy, man. Hey, I appreciate your call. I appreciate your input and adding to the conversation. You're welcome to call in any time, and I get where you're at. Where are we going next, Mac?
Cedric in Kentucky.
Cedric, you're up next. What's up, man? Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. That situation with LeBron, I heard that quite a bit, but I'm trying to understand. I listen to you guys quite a bit every day. Do you actually think that anybody that has a D behind their name truly hates America? That everybody that are Democrats hate America? Do you really feel that way? I'm talking about as a Christian standpoint and an elder. I'm just trying to see where you at on that, because I hear that a lot on your show that the Democrats hate America. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I think Democrat leadership has proven that they hate America. I think that's been proven time and time again. Your average Democrat voter, I don't think that the average Democrat hates America. I think that they've been, woefully misinformed by mainstream media and regurgitated talking points and echo chambers, and they think that they're doing the right thing. And I think that's just a product of the left having control over mainstream media. But no, I'm not going to say that just because you vote Democrat means you hate the country. But I will say a guy like LeBron James, he was walking in, but he also chose to sit down immediately mid national anthem. He was already standing. He chose to sit down, and this guy has made millions off of the backs of American citizens, just from ticket prices to jersey sales to sneaker sales, and this is what he chooses to do. He goes in there, he sits down. This is the same guy that when Daryl Morey, which at the time was the GM for the Houston Rockets, was saying pro-Hong Kong things, LeBron James said, well, he needs to educate himself more. I think LeBron James is more than happy and willing to, hold the line for China and is not really have any interest in being pro-America.
Okay, but I just want to ask you one more thing. Can you verify this, that America as a whole, now it has some dark secrets itself that are a past of dark secrets that some people just somewhat can't forget.
Yeah, but LeBron James, are you talking like slavery and stuff like that? Is that where you're going?
Deeper than that. Yeah. Well, we can go back deeper than that. We won't go into it now, but I mean, we can go deeper than that.
I mean,
America
we can go
has
into it.
some
We
real
can
deep
go
dark
into it.
secrets.
We can go into it, Cedric, if you want to go into it. It's Agenda Free Friday. We can
No,
go wherever
no.
you want to go with this, man. Like,
Well,
with
no,
it, if you want
I
to
know
talk about it.
You want to talk.
No, I mean, I'm with it if
But,
you want to talk about it. But like, how has this country been nothing but great to LeBron James?
Well, I mean, it has. It has. I mean, I'm not going to say it hasn't been great, but I'm just, my main thing is, I hear y'all a lot on there. Like I said, as a Christian standpoint, and as a God-fearing man, I just hear y'all a lot, mention the fact that, and the one like that Mark Levine, I really don't have anything for him. He writes a book. Democrats hate America and all that. All Democrats are not like that. I mean, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I would like this country to be back loving the way it was at one time. And 70% of my family were military. My father was in the Korean War, 2 tours in Vietnam, and my whole family is like I said, 70% of my family is military. So, and I got some that didn't come back. So, I mean, I'm trying to understand. I know there's a lot of things that the Democrats done. I'm very familiar with history,
Like
but I
starting
just
the Ku
couldn't
Klux Klan
understand that.
and segregation and
Right. Oh my goodness, yeah. I'm real familiar with all that. But I mean, I just, I may have took you wrong, but I hear that a lot on your show, and y'all say a lot of interesting stuff. That's why I listen to you. I'm a real good listener, and it's just a lot of interesting stuff on your shows, and I appreciate it.
I love that you call in. I love that you always bring a different viewpoint, and I don't want you to ever stop listening or stop bringing a counter argument.
No.
You know I'm with it. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. But as far as the topic at hand and LeBron James, is there any other country on the planet that could have afforded him the opportunities that this country could have?
Oh no! I'll have to admit to that. No, I wish I was in that position.
So is there any reason why he shouldn't be setting the example for the kids that look up to him, that we stand for the national anthem, we love this country, and we respect this country?
No, I see your point. I see your
Feel
point.
me?
That, as an example, and as someone that is looked up to, as an example, I see what you're saying.
Hey, man,
Should've
I
been
appreciate
more
your call,
respectful.
Cedric. Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
He was
thank
already
you.
standing. He walked in while it was happening. He was already standing. He chose to sit down. He wasn't, you know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, Cedric, you're always welcome here on the show. I appreciate you, man. It is 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. More of your calls next. Hang out with us.
Still got that injury crash at Hillsborough Pike at I-440. A swoop on terror suspects and honor over any hard feelings. A rare public appearance by former First Lady Melania Trump. That's coming up at, 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm the one that's supposed to not know what time it is.
Yeah, I wrote 1:30 instead of 11:30. And I thought, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be home.
Hey, thanks, Ken Weaver. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm broadcasting live from downtown Phoenix at the Renaissance Hotel right now. I'm going to be here all weekend for Turning Point USA's AmFest, doing the show here live Monday and Friday. We were talking about LeBron James sitting during the national anthem. We had a great call with Cedric, who calls in all the time, friend of the show. Doesn't always agree with everything we have to say, but he's always up for a discussion. I love that. It's better than arguing with each other. It's better than screaming at each other. But Dave, who also calls in the show a lot, our favorite Hebrew, he's on the line now, and he wants to respond to what Cedric said. So, Dave, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. I hope you guys are doing well.
Yes,
you know, I kind of wanted to respond to Cedric. You know, I've been a Mark Levin fan for a long time, and
okay,
I bought Mark Levin's book, and I think just as you pointed out to Cedric that it's not the average Democrat voter, but it certainly is the party itself. That book, you know, me being a history guy, as I've told you before, I call myself an amateur historian. I majored in history at University of Memphis. You know, my dad was a history major before he went to dental school, you know, way back in the day before history was revisionist history. And everything in that book, in Levin's new book, is footnoted. It's there. It's all there. It's all in the historical record. And you know, again, like I said, I agree that it's not the average voter, but I think the average voter has certainly been duped, because I know from my years of listening to talk radio, and I can remember being in middle school and being in the car and listening to G. Gordon Liddy with my dad, and you know, the Rush Limbaugh era, and Glenn Beck and Sean Hannity and you guys and Mark Levin. The issue has never been the Democrat voter. The issue has been the party and what the party stands for. You take a look at somebody like, perfect example, you take a look at somebody like John F. Kennedy. If he were to run today, they would run him out of that party on a rail.
Oh my gosh, I say this to my mother. I've said this to my mother and my father-in-law so many different times. Like, everybody loves JFK, but if he ran today, he would be lambasted in the media as an extremist Nazi.
Yep. I mean, you know, when was the last time you would ever hear a Democrat say, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country? When was the last time you heard a Democrat on policies of low taxation? When was, you know, and especially back during those days, desegregation, you know, certainly his running, his vice president, LBJ was not a big fan of desegregation. The man was a virulent racist.
Yep.
You know, it's in the historical record when he signed the Civil Rights Act. He said, "I'll have those bleeps voting Democrat for the next 100 years."
Yep, and it seems. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I do like what you said, and I appreciate your call, Dave, and your comment. But when was the last time you heard a Democrat politician say, "Ask not what your country can do for you"? That's what you can do for your country. It's 10:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ken Weaver standing by with the news. Oh, it's 11:31. Ken Weaver with the news on Super Talk.
Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes, and right now the War on Terror update. A swoop on suspects widens in Europe amid rising tensions as the Gaza offensive continues.
It's been a busy few days on the counterterrorism front in Europe as we head toward the Christmas period. Denmark is holding 2 individuals in custody, and 4 others are the target of an investigation there. 1 person has been arrested in the Netherlands, and 3 have been detained in Germany. They're accused of preparing attacks on Jewish institutions in Europe. Additional arrests are expected.
Right now in our nation's capital, honor over hard feelings. Former First Lady Melania Trump helped swear in 25 immigrants as U.S. citizens today at the National Archives, which asked for the White House documents investigation that led to charges against her husband.
It is my privilege to share this great nation, America, with you.
Source close to the former president insists he was supportive of Mrs. Trump's decision to take part in that event at the National Archives. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. What's one of the biggest mistakes that I find that investors make? Well, it's typically buying based on past performance. We look at our 401k, we try to decide which fund should I buy, and tend to look at historical past performance over 3, 5, and you even hear investment advisors telling people to look at 3, 5, and 10-year track records. Problem is that what do markets do? They go up and they go down. Well, where does this have a great past performance? Here to here. So we end up buying high. We found that there was one study back in 1986, and it was called the Brinson-Hooden-Biebauer study. And they were looking at what drove investment returns more than anything else. And the study sort of looked like this. They said, stock selection, about 4% of investment differences were due to stock selection. About 2% was due to market timing differences. Asset mix, asset allocation, that was the big deal. Now, what they found, which was fascinating, was that when the pension plans engaged in these 2 activities, in one study it showed that 100% of the time, investment returns were lower and it increased risk. Not something you want when you're an investor. So this is something that we teach investors to help them sidestep some of these issues. Now, if you want to learn more about our approach to investing in financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Or you can call 615-851-1950.
Well, with rain showers coming through, you are going to have a decent opportunity to poke your head down in your crawl space and see if you have any standing water. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. When I met the guys at USS, they say in their industry, you don't know you need them until you know you need them. So with rain coming in, it is a good opportunity to see if you need them. If you haven't been out in your crawl space in a while, poke your head down in there after the rain comes through and see if you have any water in your crawl space. Check your basement walls. See if they're getting wet. Have you noticed cracks in your basement floors? If you're seeing those things, that's your house trying to tell you something, and you should give the guys at USS a call to come and inspect it and come up with a custom plan to fix it. Now, they fix a lot of things, from foundation repair to sinkhole remediation repair, basement wall realignment, crawl space floor supports, or crawl space encapsulation, including basement and crawl space waterproofing. They do it all, and they have 25,000 satisfied customers in Middle Tennessee who can back them up and say not only do they do it all, but they do it well. Plus, all of their work comes with a lifetime warranty, so you don't have to worry about anything going wrong. They're always more than welcome to come back and fix anything that may pop up. They've been doing it in Middle Tennessee since 1994, and again, 25,000 satisfied customers will back them up. So if you have any of these issues, if you have that water in your crawl space, if you have those wet basement walls, call USS, United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, online, USSTN.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I am in downtown Phoenix, Arizona, broadcasting live from the Renaissance Hotel today. Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to be doing the show live from America Fest with Turning Point USA. America Fest is happening all weekend long, and you can watch it live at tpusa.com. It's going to be crazy, man. Charlie Kirk, Patrick Bet-David, Tucker Carlson, the guys from Timcast are doing their show out here live. Donald Trump Jr., Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, Roger Stone is going to be here, Patrick Byrne, Riley Gaines, Benny Johnson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Corey Mills, Vivek Ramaswamy. I mean, it's 4 days. I could probably spend 10 minutes listing all the people on this list. It's wild. Absolutely wild. You saw the agenda. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's nuts, man. Crazy, wall to wall.
I wonder, and we have, there's some unwoke sports guys coming too, like Jonathan Isaac from the Orlando Magic and Jason Whitlock.
Jason Whitlock.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to say anything about this LeBron sitting for the national anthem. I bet you they will. Do we still have a couple calls on that?
Yeah, we do. Dennis and Belvedere. Let's talk about LeBron as well.
All right, let's go to Dennis real quick. Dennis, you're up next on Super Talk 99.7. What's going on, Dennis?
What's up, Chris? Hey, God bless Cedric. I mean, I could just hear it in his voice. He's a Christian guy, but man, they live in the past. I didn't own slaves, and I just don't think LeBron deserves to even be here. I mean, like you say, he's making billions of dollars off of slave labor with Nike and everything, and he can't even stand. I mean, the problem in the black communities, they interviewed people in jail, and they said, what's the number one thing that's alike with all you people? And 80% did have fathers. So, I mean, that culture, them people need role models, and he's not one of them, you know.
Yeah,
and
you're absolutely right.
And as far as the Bud Light thing, you know, I got a little soft in my old age on that because, you know, I know Kid Rock. I saw the Tucker Carlson interview on X or whatever you call it now. It was awesome. Yeah. And he was drinking beer on the set, but because Tucker goes, I see you're not drinking Bud Light. I saw what you poured. So he's not drinking Bud Light. But here's what I'm looking at. And I'm a capitalist like yourself. But think about the delivery drivers. So a couple woke executives did a stupid thing, cost the company $20. If I'm like you, if and ever, whenever I drink, it ain't going to be a Bud Light. It tastes like, you know, floor water or something. I'm going to drink a Yingling or something that tastes like something, you know. But
yeah.
But you know, so what I'm saying is, think of the hundreds of thousands of people they're getting laid off, bottlers. They're closing 2 bottling plants. These are good union jobs, you know, $30, $40 an hour jobs with pensions and health care. So all these people, the truck drivers, all these people are losing jobs. Think about what that money does in the influx of the community they live in. How about if they lose their house and have to foreclose on their house? So I looked at a bigger realm. I believe 100% like you did at the beginning. But I'm thinking, you know what? it's like Kid Rock said, like smacking your kid, punishing your kid, smacking him on the butt one time. Live and learn from your mistakes. They lost $28 billion. UFC just signed a big contract with them. I'm not going to drink it. I like UFC. I'm a big fan of UFC. Both my kids are in Taekwondo and MMA. But so, I think, what? Maybe they learned. There's a little part of me that wants to believe that. I probably don't believe in that. I think they're still woke. I'm trying to be positive.
Yeah, all right. I appreciate the positivity. I get it, and I get you make a lot of good points, and it's hard to argue with the points that you make. You know what I mean? And I don't want to hurt regular Americans either. But
and as far as the Democrat, I got to do this. Hold on. Cedric and Dave. I mean, they're like, there's good Democrats, and it's the party. No, you are the party. What's the difference? It'd be like saying, there's any decent Democrats that are left, the party left them. So there's nothing out there. We did a morph where the Republican Party is almost for the working man now, and and the Republican Party, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, but the colored the black people still vote for the Democrats that don't care for them. I don't get it. Here's your sign. What's that other saying about you can't expect a different result when you keep doing the same thing over and over again, right?
Yeah, that's a sign of insanity. Yep.
I'm really jealous of you out there with all them good people out there. I love all those Turning Point people. Hey, I was just wondering one more thing. I'll let you go and have a Merry Christmas. But are you going to go down and check out the border and see how safe it is and how secure it is down there while you're out there?
No. I don't really.
That is a joke. That is a joke, right?
Yeah. The border in general is a joke. Hey, I appreciate your call, man. Thanks so much, and I
no problem, buddy.
your point of view and the different perspective. That's what I love. I love getting different perspectives. Dwayne has a comment on LeBron James. You're next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Dwayne?
Hey, man. Ask LeBron what's 4 times 4.
All right. Is that?
That's all I had to say.
All right,
Love
perfect.
your show. Thanks, sir.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you. All right. 4 times 4. All right.
I mean, it's 16. Is that? I'm confused.
I don't know. If he was insulting intelligence or something like that. I guess.
Gotcha.
I'm not the smartest guy. I don't know. We're more of like a fart joke kind of crowd. You know what I mean? I did want to talk about, speaking of math, have you seen Shohei Ohtani's contract?
Woo! Wow.
So, all right, give me the breakdown. You know about this stuff more than me with your podcast Behind the Box Score. Shohei Ohtani, he signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
The Los Angeles Dodgers. He was with the Angels, and so he just got his first big contract. It's the largest MLB contract of all time. 10 years, $700 million. The next one was $426 million, the next biggest. So this is almost $300 million bigger than the next biggest. It's 10 years, $700 million, and he actually deferred $68 million each year to be paid between 2034 and 2043. So he's going to make $2 million in annual salaries for this, these next 10 years. And then after that, he'll make the 68 each year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Now, he's never going to be able to spend this money.
No, I don't think he'll be able to spend it quick enough. He's making it too much.
Like that, it's a crazy contract. It just, I don't understand it. But I did see a story. Former San Francisco Giants megastar Buster Posey is claiming that Shohei Ohtani declined a contract with the San Francisco Giants and chose the Los Angeles Dodgers because San Francisco has a poor reputation as a city.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's bad because it's L.A. So
yeah, I was like, that's where my head went. I was like, did anybody not give him a tour of Los Angeles?
It's like, yeah, he's been playing there. He's lived there. It's crazy.
If I was the Giants, I would have planned the Shohei Ohtani visit around the Xi Jinping visit, so that way everything would have been cleaned up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Like that's what I would have had him come to San Francisco. $700 million. He wouldn't sign with the rumor is that he wouldn't sign with the Giants because it's a bad city.
Unreal.
Listen, that's crazy. I feel like I would, for $700 million, I might put up with San Francisco. Would you put up with San Francisco for $700 million?
I think I could live. I could make it.
I mean, at least like the poop maps are online, so you know where to avoid. They say that the San Francisco Giants offered Ohtani a contract nearly identical to the Dodgers.
Wow.
But it's a fecal infested homeless of crime. So,
man, that's nuts. I wonder if he just likes L.A. I mean, that'd be kind of weird, though. I have no idea.
Has he been to L.A.? I mean, maybe they just have nicer gated communities. I don't understand. Maybe
he just didn't want to move. He's been playing with the Angels for the past few years. He just didn't want to move. He's like, you know what? I'll just go to the Dodgers, keep my same house.
A little recency bias or something like that.
No clue.
Maybe he didn't want to be near Nancy Pelosi. I could understand that.
What a ridiculous clown show.
Yep. That's your city. Listen. Is there any, they got me thinking, though, is there any, clean, big American city in baseball that you could be like, that's the perfect city to move to?
I mean, dude, it's tough. Like, Cincinnati, they got the Reds. I mean, would you, Cleveland? I mean, I'm biased here in this conversation, so I'm going to, the Royals, Kansas City.
Kansas City would make sense.
Kansas City's a great city.
Yeah, and is it clean?
It is clean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
An American, baby. Tell you what.
Maybe like Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, yep. Their team's kind of in peril of they're losing their franchise,
They're going to be coming to Nashville soon, I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Dude, yes. I would love a Major League Baseball
I would love
franchise in Nashville.
Yes, and that would be the answer to your question, right? If we got a Major League Baseball team, boom, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, would you want the dome? I feel like we would want like a retractable roof dome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'd be sick.
That's the move.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be a great time.
Is there any other big city in baseball where you could be like, that's not a crime-infested hellhole that would be clean enough to go move to? I think like Tampa Bay, maybe.
Yeah,
but maybe
I mean, St. Louis ain't it. I mean,
no. St. Louis ain't it.
St. Louis ain't it. I mean, Seattle. Nope. I don't know much about Seattle.
No, Seattle has all the Antifa and the rain, and then nobody's moving to Detroit for safety. And cleanliness. I mean, where else? Isn't that crazy to think about?
That's insane. Yeah, because I mean, all the big cities have two teams. New York, Chicago, and LA. That's 6 right there.
Yeah, so those guys are out.
Yeah, that's out. Yeah, that's 20% of the league right there or whatever.
Yeah, dude, it's
nuts.
Insane. Every single city that has a team is just awful. All right, let's end on that positive note. All right. We've just been a bastion of positivity today. Thank you for joining us on the show. Matt Murphy's going to be checking in with us next to let us know what's happening on the Murphy Show. Listen, if you guys did not hear Murphy's interview with Desjardins, it's podcasted, right? They had to have podcasted.
Oh, I'm sure.
You gotta listen to Murphy discussing Desjardins' yay vote for the NDAA Reauthorization Act. It was such a good interview, and we're lucky to have Murphy on the team. Hang out with us. We're going to check in with him next. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:56 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand broadcasting live from the Renaissance Hotel, downtown Phoenix, Arizona, here all weekend for Turning Point USA's America Fest. Back in Nashville, my buddy Matt Murphy joining us now. What's up, Matt?
Hello, Chris Hand. How are you, sir? Well, you're in Phoenix.
Good.
I shouldn't ask.
Yeah, it's all right. There's better play. I love being in Nashville.
Well, there you go. I shouldn't talk. I've never been to Phoenix. The only thing I know about Phoenix are what people tell me, and it's never really good.
No. I saw the last time I was here. I saw that they were making a nice homeless camp in downtown Phoenix. So
that's nice.
There's development.
It's nice that we take care of our urban outdoorsmen.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Urban camping.
Super dope.
Urban camping.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking a minute ago about Shohei Ohtani, the $700 million man in baseball. Apparently he turned down a contract with San Francisco because of the bad reputation of the city, and he decided to sign with L.A. So somebody needs to tell him about L.A.
I mean, I'm curious how that. I mean, I'm not curious enough to look it up, but I admit that I was intrigued how exactly that would work against. I mean, because the rules of Major League Baseball indicate that you have a salary cap, right? Aren't there salary caps in baseball?
No, not in baseball.
Nope.
Then why are they deferring the money?
He's doing that.
Well, why is he doing that? Why does it benefit the club to do that? Is my question.
He probably talked to like his own Paul Winkler and got a financial plan.
No, it's probably smart for him. I mean,
Yeah,
if you
for
live,
him.
I mean, I don't know how one would live on $2 million a year, but I mean,
In LA, it actually could be tough.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit tougher than you would think out there. I would guess, but.
Well, we were wondering, is there any major league city that isn't really a hellhole? And we kind of came up with like maybe Tampa Bay.
Oh, wait. We came up with one more.
What was the other one?
Kansas City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've never been to Kansas City,
Have you really not?
I've never been to Kansas. I've been all around
gosh.
it. I've been to Nebraska.
Oh,
I've been to Missouri.
Missouri. Yeah.
But Missouri's trash.
Nebraska and Missouri. Yeah.
My wife had texted me, and I got a couple texts about this one too. Somebody said Pittsburgh isn't that bad, and I said, "Oh yeah, we mentioned that off air." The only thing though is it's full of Pittsburghers.
Yeah, that's true. most every major league city, sadly, is run by Democrats, and any city run by Democrats is a crap hole. I mean, let's be honest. But I want to know how Kansas is different from Nebraska.
Oh,
great barbecue, bro.
Probably not.
Barbecue, bro.
Hey, before we go, I loved your interview with Scott Desjardins yesterday, and I've been telling everybody to go podcast it. It was awesome.
Wasn't that fun?
It was. Hang out with Matt Murphy. He's up next, 12 to 3 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Authorities overseas say they have stopped several terror plots linked to the ongoing Israel-Hamas war in Gaza.
It's been a busy few days on the counterterrorism front in Europe as we head toward the Christmas period. Denmark is holding 2 individuals in custody, and 4 others are the target of an investigation there. 1 person has been arrested in the Netherlands, and 3 have been detained in Germany. They're accused of preparing attacks on Jewish institutions in Europe. Additional arrests are expected. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
President Biden urging Israel to shift its military tactics in Gaza to avoid civilian casualties. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan relaying that message in meetings with Israel's prime minister yesterday, along with freeing more hostages and getting more aid into Gaza. ABC's Britt Clinton has more.
The Israeli cabinet voted for the opening of the Kerem Shalom crossing, and this will double the amount of aid going in Gaza. So it is very welcome.